This conference will now be recorded.
Hi all, good morning, good evening. Welcome to the training session, Performance Testing Real-Time Live Project with JMeter. So I am Chandra. I'll be your trainer for the entire training session in which we are going to do the project with JMeter. So it will be completely a real-time project experience. So it is, we are going to implement each and every activity. We are going to do each and every uh, you know uh, documentation, deliverable, all those things. So I have 12 years of experience in performance testing space, have delivered numerous projects, have worked on different tools, LoadRunner, new load, JMeter, application performance testing tools like Dynatrace, AppDynamics, Datadog, and have worked on different protocols as well. Have provided multiple batches of training. Okay, so on JMeter, on LoadRunner, on real-time project with JMeter, with LoadRunner. So this training is one of a kind. This training is one of a kind because this is going to give you real-time project experience. You will get the flavor of a real project. Yeah, hi Manish. Are you? Is there any query? Okay, so this is going to provide you a real-time project experience. So let us go through the course curriculum. I will request every one of you, please mute yourself. If there is any queries, please unmute yourself and ask your queries. Yeah. However, if you do not have any queries, kindly mute yourself so that we do not disturb the session. And we are, however, feel free to please ask queries. Please make the session interactive. So we are going to have the demo session today on the topic that is performance testing real-time live project with JMeter. So let us go through the course curriculum, guys. Yeah. So let me share my screen. Hope my screen is visible to all of you. So we have the training performance testing real-time live project with JMeter. Okay. So coming to the curriculum. First, we are going to see the performance testing life cycle. Now, because we are going to work in a project, we are going to deliver a project for performance testing, we have to understand what all different activities are carried out in a performance testing project. So we have to know its life cycle. So I'll tell you about the performance testing life cycle and what are the different activities which we carry out in each and every phase of the performance testing life cycle. Once we go through that, we will come to the first phase. Now, so in performance testing life cycle, we have requirement gathering, we have test plan and design, we have test execution, we have test results analysis, we have test reporting. Now that can fit into a waterfall model of delivery, that can fit into an agile method of delivery. So that also I'll cover. Okay. Now in requirement gathering, we will have to gather the non-functional requirements. So for functional testing, we get functional requirements. For non-functional testing, we get non-functional requirements. Now, what are non-functional requirements? Okay, we'll go through in detail that what is non-functional requirement. Then once you get the non-functional requirements, what are you going to do? Okay, are you just going to be satisfied with the non-functional requirements with whatever you get from your project team? Now whom to contact in your project? So we'll first I'll give you the structure of an organization, like in a project, who all are the different stakeholders. Out of those stakeholders, who are the major point of contacts for the performance testing team? From whom are you going to get the non-functional requirements? Once you get the non-functional requirements, what are you going to do with them? Okay, and once you have the, once you have finalized, or once you have got the NFRs, you are going to do the static testing. Now, what is static testing? Most of the people do not know. Okay, so I'll tell you through that what is meant by static testing of NFRs. Okay, so basically in static testing, we have to go through the non-functional requirements. We have to analyze those non-functional requirements. We have to see whatever information is required for us, right? Whatever information is required for us in the non-functional requirements as a performance test engineer, whether those information is present in the NFRs or not. If they are not present, what we have to do? Clear? What we have to do? So in that we will see how to do the static testing, what all activities needs to be done in the static testing. There is a template for static testing. Okay, how to fill in that template, what next step you need to do in the static testing or in the analysis of the NFRs. Clear? So then you have to understand the application scenarios. Okay, you have to understand the application scenarios and the application user flows and the architecture, also very important, guys. Functional testing does the validation and verification of the functional scenarios, but for us the architecture is also very important, because we deal with technical stuff, right? We deal with technical stuff. We are going to develop scripts. We do not write test cases. We develop test scripts, and we are validating and verifying the performance of the application. That is why we have to understand the architecture also. So we are going to go through the application flow and the architecture. Now you will ask me here, which application? Which application are you going to understand? What are the scenarios in it? What is the architecture of that application? So exclusively for this project, Isha Training Solutions has developed a application, guys. Okay, Isha Training Solutions has developed an application exclusively for this training. We are going to understand that application. That will be a brand new application. You are going to understand that application. What is the architecture of that application? Okay, so it will be as if you are into a project. You have been asked to do the performance testing of an application, and with respect to that application you have to conduct each and every activity which you are going to do in a performance testing project. Okay, and then now that you have got the NFRs, you have done the analysis of the NFRs, you have done the static testing of the NFRs, you will then finalize the NFRs, because only if we get the NFRs, that is not sufficient, right? We have to finalize the non-functional requirements that will be in our scope. We also have to finalize the business flows. The business flows. Clear, all of you? So whatever scenarios will be in scope of performance testing, we have to finalize those. Now, how can you know which all scenarios will be in scope of performance testing? The scenarios which are frequently used by the users in production, the scenarios which are very much critical for the application, those kind of scenarios are going to be the candidates for performance testing. Clear? So you have to finalize those with the right stakeholders in the project. You cannot do that, right? Even if you have good domain knowledge on that application, you should not be doing that. Rather, you should be checking with the right set of project stakeholders and should be finalizing the business flows as well as the non-functional requirements. So with this, you will be coming to the end of the requirement gathering phase. Okay, the requirement gathering phase. Any queries, anyone, till now? If there are any queries, please unmute yourself and ask the query. I'll take it as a no. Then comes the next set of activities, the test strategy documentation. Now that you have understood what your application is all about, now that you have understood what are your non-functional requirements, now that you have understood what are your user flows or business flows in scope. So basically you have understood your scope, what is in scope for you, what is out of scope for you, that you have understood. Based on that, you are going to document the performance test strategy. Are all of you clear? Based on the scope which have been given to you, you are going to document the test strategy, as well as, is the test strategy sufficient? Is there any difference between test strategy and test plan? Definitely there is some difference, otherwise I would not have written test strategy and plan documentation, right? So there is some difference between test strategy, test plan. There are templates for test strategy and test plan. So we will be discussing how to document a test strategy. We will not only be discussing the test strategy, rather we will be documenting the test strategy. Real-time project experience, all of you. Then we will come to the test plan documentation. Over there we will be able to see what is the difference between a test strategy and a test plan, performance test strategy, performance test plan. What is the difference? And we are going to document both of those documents. That is a deliverable. Okay, test strategy, test plan, they both are deliverables from the performance testing team. Clear, all of you? So we will be doing that, we will be documenting that. Once you document, okay, then one important section in that is the workload model. In all your interviews for performance testing, it is, you know, seen in general that you will get a question on workload model. I'm going to explain workload model in such a way that it will be very much crystal clear to you how to design the workload model and what approach do you need to design the workload model. That will be very much clear. And then the user distribution. So what is the difference? Many people think workload model is nothing but the user distribution. No. Workload model is basically how you are going to achieve the required TPS provided to you, or the required transactions per second provided to you, or the transactions per hour provided to you with the provided number of users or with the desired number of user load. But user distribution, you have to distribute the users across different scenarios. What is the approach you are going to take for that? So there is a clear difference between them. But many people think workload model is same as user distribution. No. So we are going to discuss the approach with different examples to design the workload model. Now that you have prepared the test strategy, test plan, documents, then you need to do the walkthrough of the test strategy and test plan with the project stakeholders. Clear, all of you? Once you have done the test strategy and test plan documentation, you have to do the walkthrough of those documents with the project stakeholders. Now, how you should present your test strategy, test plan, because once you present them, you will take the approval. You are going to take the approval on those documentations. So how you should present such that you are able to also test plan, test strategy, they are big documents, right? So it is very difficult to cover them in the single walkthrough meeting. So what approach you need to take, how do you need to do the walkthrough, so that it will be easier for you to get the approval. Then we are going to see the test tool feasibility analysis, very important also. We are going to do a POC, a proof of concept, right? So for our application, we are going to see which tool will be feasible. So this is a phase, guys, right? So similarly, whenever you are deployed to any project and an application is given to you, you need to decide, right, which performance testing tool you are going to use for your testing purpose. That is where the test tool feasibility analysis comes into picture. We are going to do that as well. And then the application which have been developed, okay, the application which has been developed by Isha Training Solutions is exclusively for this training program, and this training program is on real-time live project with JMeter. So JMeter is going to be suitable for this application to develop the test scripts. That is why we are going to see the installation of JMeter. Then we are going to do a proof of concept with JMeter for our application. We are going to do a proof of concept with JMeter for our application under test. Any queries, anyone, on the topics which we discussed till now? Any queries, anyone? Okay. So let me go to the next topic. Then once your JMeter is installed, you do a POC, then your test environment setup is necessary, right? For your performance testing, you need a performance testing environment on which you are going to do the test script development, test script execution, all those things, all the different activities you are going to carry out on your test environment. You have to set up the test data, all those things. So for that you need an environment, a test environment. So we are going to see how to set up the test environment. Now when I say test environment, it will be performance test environment. Clear, all of you? So we are going to see how to set up the test environment. Then test script development. Once your environment is ready, your tool is already there, you have your scenarios ready, so then you are going to do the test script development. We will be going into the phase of test script development, where we are going to do the development of the test scripts for all these scenarios in our scope. We are going to develop the test scripts real time. Okay, it's not that the scripts are already in place and it will be handed over to you. No, we are going to develop the scripts pure hands on. Also, once the script is developed or recorded, is that much sufficient, or there are necessary enhancements required? And the application, when I say enhancements, I am referring to parameterization, correlation, response assertion, right? And then we have the other, like I'll come to that. So before that, so the application is designed in such a way that you will get so many different flavors from it. Like there will be candidates for correlation, there will be candidates for parameterization, there will be candidates for authorization, and there are also candidates for some complex scenarios which we will see in the test script development. Now, once your test script development is done, you have to understand what are your test data requirements, because you will be doing different types of tests, right? In your test plan document, test strategy, you are going to define what all different tests you will do, right? What all different tests you are going to do, and for those different type of test you need test data or not. You need test data. Now, how to understand what is your test data requirement, what test data do you need, those all different parameters also I'm going to discuss, that what is your test data requirements. Okay, what is your test data requirements, and we will be preparing the test data as well for our test scripts for the different types of tests which we are going to conduct. Okay, so that is one thing. Then once you understand your test data requirements, you prepare your test data, your test scripts are ready, what will you do? You will do a dry run of your test scripts, right? You will do a dry run of your test scripts so as to ensure that your test script is ready for use, your test script is robust, your test scripts are not going to fail during the test execution. Those all things you have to ensure. So there are so many different checklists which we need to follow, guys. Okay, there are so many different checklists which we are going to follow, so it is very much necessary we understand them. Then we are going to design our test scenario for load test and stress test. Okay, so let's say we have proposed that the application requires load test, the application requires stress test, the application requires soak test. We'll be designing the test scenario for the load test and stress tests, because soak test will not be possible, right, during our session. But once you understand the load test and stress test approach, you can easily, because we are going to discuss the approach for endurance test or soak test. Okay, how you are going to do that. Any queries, anyone till now?
Yeah, hi. This is MD. I have a quick question.
Yeah,
The application that or the scripting that we are gonna be doing, is it gonna be based on API or is it gonna be a UI application?
it will be a UI app, web application.
It's gonna be a web application. And you
Yes.
already mentioned, sorry, another second question. You already
No worries. You
mentioned
can
about
ask as many questions as you want.
Yeah, you already mentioned about the CSV data set. We are going to be looking at it, the assertions and samplers and all those things. Are we going
Yes.
to go through the key store configurations as well as SSL configuration? Because some of the applications that it needs it. So are we going to kind of brush through those specifics as well, just in case?
So you are you referring to the certificate errors which you get?
Right, right.
Yeah, so those things
Configuration.
will be also, yeah. So when we are looking into the JMeter installation part and the test environment setup and the proof of concept, everything related to your test script development will be discussed, so that all the checklist what you should follow for a smooth test script development, you will not face any challenges for that. So that also we are going to discuss.
Okay, last question. The execution of the load test scenario, are we gonna be doing it as like distributed testing, or are we gonna be, exporting the test in BlazeMeter or some other, load test tool and execute it from there?
So if you see here, you asked the right question as well. So I haven't gone to that topic yet, but we have
Okay,
distributed testing with JMeter in scope as well.
okay,
The
okay.
load
Thank you.
test, the load test which we are going to do, that will be a standalone test, because the volumetric which we are going to use will not be that huge. It will not be like in the numbers of 1000 or 2000, but the distributed testing will be explained. Along with that, the demo will be given so that you are completely clear on how to do distributed testing. So
Thank
we'll execute the tests for smaller duration of time, so that you also get that flavor how we do the test execution in distributed mode.
Thanks for
Does that
sharing.
answer your question?
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have covered till test scenario design for load and stress test, guys. Any queries till now? Please make this session interactive. Whatever queries you have, whatever doubts you have, please ask this. Please ask them. Get your queries clarified. That is very much important. Okay. So then we'll go to the next topic. Now, when I say performance testing, is performance testing only done to get the response time, the throughput, or the number of hits per second, or basically the client side metrics? That is not total performance testing, right? That is not total performance testing. We need to do the performance testing in such a way that we are able to collect client side metrics, server side metrics also. Along with that, we need to also understand how is the user experience, right? How is the user experience? Now, when I'm talking about user experience, we need to understand the rendering, right? Rendering of the different elements of the application. We are going to cover those three things. Now, how can we cover that? We can cover that only if we have application performance monitoring tool in place, and that is where we come to Dynatrace. Okay, so our application is being monitored by Dynatrace. We have the integration, we have Dynatrace installed on our web server, application server, database server, and we are monitoring our application. Okay, so we are going to see the integration with Dynatrace, how Dynatrace is capturing the metrics from our application. And not only that, I'm also going to show you how to integrate JMeter with Dynatrace, so that you can filter out, you can specifically find out which all requests have come from JMeter to the application. And you will only monitor, or you will only analyze those requests for your load test or stress test or endurance test. Clear, all of you? So we are going to see that integration with Dynatrace. And then, because our test scripts are ready, our test data is ready, okay, and our test script dry run has been done, there are other checklists, other prerequisites which we need to follow. That will be discussed in details during the sessions, because these are the topics which we are going to cover. So those topics will come under this. So we are then going to do the load test execution. Okay, load test execution and monitoring with Dynatrace. Okay, we are going to do the execution of the load test, and we are going to monitor that execution with Dynatrace. It's not that we are only going to do the test on JMeter, guys. No, we are also going to do the application performance monitoring. Now that your load test execution is completed, we are going to do the collation of the test results, and I will give you lots of data, right? I'll give you lots of data. But if you do not know the approach, how to analyze those data, is that data of any use to you? I don't think so, right? If you have huge amount of data, but you do not know what approach you need to take to analyze those data, what are the steps you need to follow to analyze those data, then those data is of no use for you. Am I clear? It's like you are alone in the ocean, you are thirsty, you do not have any water to drink, but even if you are in the middle of the ocean, you cannot drink a drop of water. It's that situation, right? So we are going to discuss what is the approach to do the test results analysis. So by collation, you gather all the test results, okay, from JMeter, from Dynatrace. But if you do not know the right steps, how to analyze those test results, then there's no point in doing the performance test, because analysis is very very important, guys. When you need to spend good amount of time in doing the test results analysis. So we are going to analyze the test results from JMeter. We are going to analyze the test results from Dynatrace, okay, for the load tests. Similarly, we'll then execute the stress test. Okay, so the stress test execution and monitoring of those tests with Dynatrace. Clear, all of you? Monitoring of those tests with Dynatrace. Then similarly for stress test, we'll collect the test results, whatever what the findings, and we will analyze those test results. Then comes one important concept, that is distributed testing with JMeter. It is also known as master slave concept. It is also known as remote testing. It is also known as controller and worker node concept. We are going to see what are the steps in order to implement distributed testing, what are the important points for distributed testing, what are the conditions, or what are the conditions which you need to remember for distributed testing, and as well as we are going to implement distributed testing by looking into the demo of that. Clear, all of you? So with this you will come to know how to do the standalone test execution, as well as how you are going to do the distributed testing execution or execution through distributed testing. What is the significance of distributed testing? Any queries, anyone till now?
Uh, yes, sir. Integration with Dynatrace or any APM tool like AppDynamics, Datadog, anything. So the setup in our my system for the practice or what? What is the actual process?
Dynatrace needs to be installed on the application servers, right, where the application is deployed.
Okay.
So the Dynatrace will be accessible. So the Dynatrace instance for our application, it will be under monitoring. Okay, I will
Mm.
provide you the details of the monitoring environment through which
Mm.
you will be able to monitor the application under test. If you
Okay.
want to, if yes, through web, you will be able to access
Mm.
the monitoring environment. Monitoring environment
Okay.
means where you will be able to log in into Dynatrace, and as a end
Mm.
user you will be able to do the monitoring, performance monitoring,
Okay. We can
right?
do the practice also on that one.
You can do the practice also, yes.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
You can do the
Sir,
practice
are
because
you?
you will be able, because you will be given access to the application. You will be able to
Mm.
launch the application, you will be able to do the transactions on the application, then you go to Dynatrace and analyze those.
Yes, the integration with the Dynatrace or application, is it possible to get those details? How we will do the application with integration with this Dynatrace?
Yes,
How we
those
will
things
do
I'll
the
explain.
integration with? Okay.
Yes, those things I'll explain. No, like how you are going to do the integration with Dynatrace. And it is
Mm.
not only about the integration of Dynatrace with your application. Over here,
Mm.
I'm also going to cover the integration of Dynatrace with performance testing tool JMeter.
JMeter, yes. So both,
So that
both.
so
Mm.
both I'm going to cover, so that during your execution, you see, during your execution, even though you ask people don't use this environment for a specified duration, there could be some traffic coming in from other sources other than your load
Yes,
test, right?
yes.
You need
Mm-hmm.
to be very much sure that which requests are coming from JMeter only, right?
Mm-hmm.
In order to do the
Yes.
proper analysis. So over there,
Okay.
the integration of Dynatrace with JMeter will come handy.
Okay. Sir, are you covering in this entire process Grafana integration or Jenkins in this process?
Yes, so
Are you
integration
covering?
of JMeter with Jenkins will be covered. Okay, Grafana is not there, but if you all require it, I can cover that. Integration of JMeter with Grafana, that I can cover, not an issue.
Okay. Okay.
Because we have already have Dynatrace, right? So in Grafana, you will only be able to see the results from JMeter, right? Whatever results
Visual. Yeah. Visual
only
reports.
in a
Yes.
more means it will be in front of you, like the user with UI part will only be there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
real monitoring is with Dynatrace, and because we already have Dynatrace, so I did not keep Grafana in the course. But if you all want, I
Mm-hmm.
can show that integration of JMeter with Grafana.
Yeah, sure, sir. We need it.
Okay. Any other queries? Anyone?
What is the total duration? What is the total duration of the course? How many days? How many
Yeah,
hours?
we'll be covering the course in almost 35 to 40 hours.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because we are going to do everything hands on. It's not like I'll say and finish the session, right? So you see, the test strategy documentation, test plan documentation will do real time, the analysis of NFRs, the results of the analysis, all those things we are going to prepare, right? So that will take time. Are you getting me? Then test script development will completely do
Yes.
the
Yes.
hands on for all the scenarios.
Yes.
Clear?
Yes. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
will be
Yeah.
real time project experience, a live
Okay.
project. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it blazemeter.demo or JPEG store or any other
So as
websites?
I told you, no, as I told you, the institute, the academy has developed an application exclusively for this training. So it will not be Pet Store, it will not
Okay. Okay.
be
Okay.
Blaze Store, BlazeMeter Demo. And that application architecture, that application flows, we are going to cover in this. Okay, the understanding of application flows and the architecture.
Yeah. Sure, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other queries? Okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sir, integration for with Dynatrace, is it licensed software?
No, it is not licensed software. It will be using the trial version of Dynatrace, but you will get all the features you need.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Our objective is that we should be able to monitor our application. We should be able to get the details what we need, and that will be made available. Any other queries? Okay. So then we go to the next one. That is, now that we have done the executions, we have done the analysis of the test results, right? We have done the executions, we have done the analysis of the results. So we will prepare the test report. Okay, so test report preparation over here also, The template will be shared for the test report preparation. The report will be prepared during the session. Okay, and then we are going to do the walkthrough, means how to do the test report walkthrough, and what are the tips for the test report walkthrough, what all documents you need to prepare for the test report walkthrough. Those all things will be conducted, and then we come to the end of the project, that is the test closure and sign off. Okay, we have more sections in the training, that is the bonus topics, how you do the efforts estimation for performance testing. For performance testing, how are you going to do the efforts estimation, that will be covered. Then performance testing in waterfall and performance testing in agile methodology, what is the difference, how do you do that, that will be covered. Versioning control and pipeline execution. Okay, how you can do the versioning control of your test scripts using Git, and then how you are going to do the execution on the pipeline. Okay, so those all things will be covered, and then we'll also be discussing the interview questions. Now these interview questions will be discussed in each and every topic whenever we are covering those. Let's say in non-functional requirement gathering, what are the interview questions which you can expect? In workload modeling, what are the interview questions which you can expect? So we are going to see the interview questions for each and every topic whenever we are covering those topics. Clear? Any queries, anyone? So with this, we come to the end of the walkthrough of the course curriculum. So exclusive training for real-time live project. These are the topics which we are going to cover and do the hands-on. With this, at the end of the course, you will be very much confident on how to deliver a performance testing project. You will be aware, okay, this thing is done, that thing is done, I should take care of these things, I should not be worried about these things, this is not my responsibility, but these are my responsibilities. All these questions in your mind will get clear. Moreover, you will get that confidence to deliver a performance testing project. And then all these sessions will be recorded. Okay, all the sessions will be recorded. You all are going to have the lifetime access to the videos. Okay, the videos will be made available to you. Everyone will have the lifetime access to the videos. The different templates, the different deliverables, whatever will be developed during the training. For example, you will analyze the NFRs, and then like for example, you will get the NFRs, right? So the NFRs will be provided to you. Then you do the analysis of those NFRs, and you then provide the results of those analysis. That is a deliverable that we will do, that will be shared with the group. Similarly, test plan template will be shared, test strategy template will be shared, and once we complete the test strategy documentation, test plan documentation, they will also be shared. Test script we will be developing, the test scripts will be shared. The load test results and the test report template and the final test report will also be shared. Clear all of you? Any queries, anyone?
Sir, version control with CSCD, last bonus topic.
Yes, yes, yes.
So it is covering from end-to-end version control and pipeline. It is covering from end-to-end CI/CD process
So
in this one.
basically here I will show you how you will do your versioning control, how you will
Mhm.
how you will push your scripts to the repositories, and
Repository, yeah.
how you can integrate JMeter with Jenkins and execute them
Mm.
on the pipeline.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other queries, anyone? So these are the topics which we will cover. So now let us start the session for today, guys. Okay, so let us start with the topic performance testing life cycle and walkthrough. So give me a moment. I'm opening the deck. Yeah, hope my screen is visible to all of you. Is it visible, guys?
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah. So you all can see the deck, right? The introduction part.
Only introduction
So
part.
yeah. So we are going to see the performance testing life cycle. So before that, I'll introduce you to some concepts. I'll give you some hints, guys. The day of exam results publication. Okay, day of exam results publication. The Tatkal ticket booking, Flipkart's first big billion day sale. Now, when I am telling these points, okay, when I am telling these points, what am I referring to? These activities or these events refer to some pattern, right? Or some type of test or some attribute of an application. What is that attribute? That attribute is the performance, right? That attribute is the performance or not? Because on the day of the exam results publication, your university website or your college website will be very slow, right? We during our days we would used to wait for hours to be able to view the result on the website. Many times the result will be 503 service temporarily unavailable. Agree with me? Tatkal ticket booking, you have to be fast or you can't book. Many times for many people the website will not open. Many times while just making the payment will not go through. So these all aspects are not related to the functionality, right? These the functionalities is there. The application functionality is working fine because in during other days you don't see that issue. Similarly, Flipkart's first big billion day sale, it was a failure because the servers crashed. Now that is also one point of failure, and these all are related to the application performance. Then I will take you to some other points. Whatever infrastructure I have thought of, are those infrastructure going to work in production? What will happen to my data center operations if there is an earthquake? These are the different type of questions. Now, these questions take me to another category of testing, that is basically about the operational readiness of the application. When the application goes to production, whether the application can be fit for operation, right? These are some of the questions. Has my application been hacked? Is there a data security breach? Is there a malware? These all points take me to another category of testing, that is about security. Right? Then, will the application be compatible with different browsers? Now there are so many browsers. You cannot force your users to use a particular browser. If that is the case, they will go to your competitor. Okay. Similarly, can the application be accessed by differently abled persons? Now we are blessed that we can view the application, we can use the application. But there are people who have challenges, and they also have the rights to use computers. They also have the rights to use different web applications. Now, is your application fit to be used by the differently abled persons, right? So the question to ponder is, I have given you different bullet points. These bullet points take me to different types of testing, different categories of testing, but all of them come under the umbrella of non-functional testing. Clear, all of you? All the different test types, they come under the umbrella of non-functional testing. So first one, performance testing, right? The point which I told you about Tatkal ticket booking, exam day results publication. Next one, operational acceptance testing or operational readiness testing, where we check whether our application is fit for use in production. Then I told you about application hacking, data breach, that is about security testing. Then, can my application be accessible in different browsers? So that is my browser compatibility testing. Accessibility testing, can your application be accessed by differently abled or specially abled persons, right? So non-functional testing is of again different types. We are nowhere validating the performance of the application, right? In all these testing types, we are not verifying the functionality of the application. Rather, we are verifying the non-functional aspect of it, and our focus will be on performance testing. Okay, our focus will be on performance testing. So with this, we'll end the demo session for today. We'll then continue from here in the next session. Thank you all for joining. Goodbye for now.